You are fucking consistent.
I am.
It is super impressive.
The consistency comes from an underlying belief that media allows me to amplify.
It's leverage, right?
One of the most unbelievable forms of leverage that we have as humans. Because if you look at distribution, it started off at like the printing press. Because before that, people only had like a Bible in their house, if they had any book. That turned into like radio. Then that turned into television. And now it's these platforms.
Right.
And what's interesting is that they've democratized distribution. So what I mean by that is like if we back up, in order to get on the radio, you had to be like exceptionally talented. You don't have to do that anymore.
Anybody can.
Yeah, or you had to have a lot of money.
Right.
In order to get on TV, same. And now what's interesting is distribution's free. Now it takes my time to produce. And I do believe that the cost of production will go up because all the attention's there and people realize that. But it really allows you to magnify. And I know that you're, at least I'm imagining, based on what you're wearing, a believer. And what I'm aware of is like, we're commanded like not to, if there's a light, you don't put it in a closet. That's not the commandment. It's to put it on a table so it can provide light to others. And that's really how I view it and think about it. And that's why, so because I'm so convicted about that, it leads to consistency. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
Because otherwise, you know what I feel like?
It's a duty.
Well, I feel like I'm being disobedient if I don't.
Right. Right.
And that's not acceptable.
That's amazing.
You know what I'm saying?
And you don't sell anymore, right?
No, I haven't in 2 years. Yeah, and this model is what allowed it to happen. So I went from 150 deals a year. I was doing like 100 deals a year for 10 years in a row, 100 deals plus. I did 200 deals twice, 200 and 202 back to back. And then when I saw this platform, I recognized like, oh, this is an opportunity to have a really big impact on a lot of people. And also do good by doing good. So once I saw that, then I basically let go of the production, which is a leap of faith. Which again, if you're familiar with the verse, like when he calls out to them in a storm and he's walking on water, he says, hey, do you believe I am who I say I am? And they were like, yeah. He's like, all right, then get out of the boat and start walking. But what I find fascinating about that, I was thinking about this, I actually teach a Bible study for the organization, and I was like, you know what I find really interesting about that story? Is if it was, first of all, that was to all of them and only one got out. That's interesting. The second one that's interesting is that if it was during like a completely crystal clear day where the water was like glass, it was 76 degrees and it was a sandbar, how many would have got out? All of them. But instead it was in a storm, right? Raining in the deep end. So the only way you would do that is with faith. That's the only way. It's if you believe. That's exactly right. So part of like the real reason, and this is good, it's cool that it's wrapping up in that way organically, is the real reason why we don't do things is because we actually don't believe they would work. Because if I really believed, let's say you knew you couldn't fail. If you wrote a book and become a bestseller, how much would you put into that? Everything. Does that make sense? So, you know, I think people will give you like this, like, here's how I'm consistent. Here's how, like the team I have in place that helps me with all that. But underneath it is this, because because what's driving it underneath is belief and conviction. And without that, you'll never be consistent at anything. Well, listen, man, I appreciate you. If I can help in any way, let me know. Yeah, pleasure, man. I appreciate what you do, brother. Yeah. Be well. YouTube is where it's at, dude. And it's what Pineda told me all the like 3 years ago. He was right. Remember that guy yesterday? He asked like, "What's the best platforms?" I'm like, "You shouldn't be thinking that. You should be thinking building an ecosystem of attention."